today. Whoa, I wonder if I just said that live on TV. Hey everybody, it's me, Jason Zalakis. Welcome to Coffee Breaks Thursdays. I'm your host, Jason Zalakis. Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zalakis. I'm feeling good today. How are you feeling? How's everybody doing out there? Man, it is a beautiful day in LA today. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in LA. Could it be LA? Who knows? Welcome to Coffee Breaks Thursdays, folks. I'm your host, Jason Zalakis. I wanted to talk this week. Let's get right to it. My week was a week, man. A real actor's life. So I can't complain. I'm really happy. Everything that's going on, I'm doing really well. So for me, no complaints. The thing is, I had a bunch of auditions this week. At one of the auditions I was at, I was an in-person audition, which I happen to love. In-person auditions are rare these days, and so for me, getting to do an in-person audition was pretty cool. I do them. I do them. I guess it's rare, but I do them. So I have them, every so often. But I had one, and I ran into James Troop, and you guys know because he's been on our show before, and he's a star of many commercials. So for me to be auditioning at the same level as a superstar James Troop, man, that just feels real good. And if you haven't seen the James Troop episode and you want to see any of our previous episodes, you can see them right here on this feed, Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zalakis on Facebook. The whole page has all of our previous shows, has everything we're doing on there. And you can see the episode with James Troop. You can see the episode with Daniel Roebuck. You can see the episodes all the way back, even the Tyler Donovan episode, which I recommend, one of my favorites of all time. So if you haven't seen the Tyler Donovan episode, last week's episode with Tracy Burr was fantastic, especially if you're a woman in the industry and you want to know about stuff like that. Last week's episode, I really recommend it. So check out the page, Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zalakis, and you can see all of our shows there. Another heads up I want to give you guys is today's episode may or may not be safe for work. So if you're watching at work, today's episode may or may not be safe for work. As you guys know, we do this live. I sort of insist on doing it live. I love the live element. I love when the viewers are commenting and watching on the show. I love to have you guys here. So, we enjoy doing it live. So anything that can and will happen on the show. And so, as you know, today's episode may or may not be, we may talk about things that may or may not be for kids. And also we may or may not talk about things you like. But hey, that's how it goes, right? So anyway, here, returning back to my week, one of the other things I noticed when I went to this audition, not only did I get to meet James Troop, but I'm a rare look in San Francisco. There's not a lot of guys in San Francisco that are 6'4", that wear the beard, that are in that industry. There's not a lot of guys there that have my look. But here in LA, it's a totally different story. In LA, there's guys that look like me, and I see them like all the time, but I rarely see them at auditions. And I ran into a guy who I swear was just like me. Dude was 6'4", dude had the same sharpness, dude had the same beard, like even the gray in his beard, dude was the same. I was like, yo, like the first time I saw the guy who, if they want that type, that dude was probably my biggest competition. And I saw him here in LA. And so that was pretty wild. I did some other auditions this week. And this is another one of those things that I like to talk about, is that because the world is crazy, dude. And some of the things that I like to talk about is parts that I get asked to audition for. And I got one that was, I don't even remember what it was for now, but I don't even know the product, but they wanted me to audition in my underwear as a guy who's fit without trying. Of course, that's not a thing. You can't be fit without trying. But a guy, or at least I can, a guy who's fit without trying. They wanted me to be that, and they wanted me to like get dressed on this thing. And so they had me as like the CEO and like doing this thing. On the exact same day, I get an audition to be a rough farmer. Like, and they want me to, and they show the pictures of the guys. And of course, one of them is Jeffrey Dean Morgan. They want me to look like Negan, which I do. Especially if I put the baseball hat on. I have like that Negan look where I'm kind of like pissy with a beard on. And so I'm going in the same exact day, and either I'm the rough farmer or I'm the CEO. I'm not sure. But I auditioned for both. And guess what? Get none of them. Get none of them. Actor's life, man, especially here in LA. Like there's so many people to choose from. Of course, I mean, it kills me when they show the picture of somebody that looks like me, and I go, dude, I'm right for this role, and I don't land the role. It kills me. You know what I mean? But that's how it goes, right? That's how it goes. I got to train with Harry James this week, and I really am proud of that, and I want to share it a little bit. I'm really proud that I got to train with Harry James. Harry James is a script supervisor and has been in tons of movies that you've heard of. Jason Goes to Hell, Die Hard, Predator 2, worked on Alias for a number of seasons. So I got to train with her this week, and that's one of the cool things about living here in LA is that I can take my craft, my acting, I can take it to a whole nother level, and I'm getting to do that here. And so, you know, it's wins and losses, man, and it is what it is. And even after this, I got another audition. And I'm pretty stoked about it. It's for a spokesman. So, you know, and you guys know I do that spokesman thing. I sell a lot of crappy products. So people tend to buy the crap I tell them to buy on commercials for some reason. So, hey, there's that. Speaking of commercials, and then we're going to lead into the rest of the show before I bring on my wonderful guest Jessa Flux, who... when you think about a rising star, man, this is the person I think of. Shooting to the top. Everybody making big waves, which is pretty exciting to be. I don't want to say new to the movie industry or whatever, but you know, to be making a splash so big is definitely cool. And we're going to bring her on soon. But before we do, there's this commercial, and it's really got me thinking. And you know, you guys, this show is a non-political show. I try to stay. I just want people to have fun at work. I know you guys are having a break today. Let's have some coffee to our break. But there's this commercial. I'm sure you've seen it, where Medusa comes on, and she's like, it's like, oh, Medusa was so lame that she was turning everybody to stone, so she had to buy these really cool sunglasses, right? So she buys these sunglasses, and she shows up, and she's all totally rad, and she's looking, and she's hanging out with her friends, and everything is fine. And the dude at the bar looks over at her, and he's all flexing, and he's all like trying to do his thing, like, hey, what up, girl, you know? He's like, I don't know, he's like 40 feet away. And she goes, she takes her sunglasses down, she goes, as if, and she like turns him to stone. Fine. But then she says, he was asking for it. I thought, he was asking for it. What if you turn that around? She was asking for it? Is anyone asking for it? I don't think I was going, oh my God, they just put that out in a commercial. And maybe I'm wrong here, but to me, that seemed like really sexist. I was like, whoa, dude. All that dude was doing was saying, hey, maybe he was saying, hey, do you want another drink? Like, he was the bartender. And she turned, and then she was like, oh yeah, that dude had it coming, man. Like, whoa. And so I don't know, man. So then we're talking about things that are in the world today, right? Crazy ass stuff. Things are crazy, man. People deserve it. People don't deserve it. No one deserves it, right? Like I don't know, man. I mean, I get. So I don't know where to go with that. My point being is that people out there making crazy decisions. And it made me think about, we're watching this trial, we're watching these wild celebrities do wild shit, wear Marilyn Monroe's dress, we're talking about things that are just insane. Like, I can't even hold it together this week, you guys. Like, buying companies, not ending world hunger, people are out there being insane. So to me, like I said last week, I'm finding myself using the word psychopath like tons. Anyway, let's get to Handsome History. I got to tell you a really funny story before we do. Leave it to Americans. These Americans were traveling in Israel, and they go to an airport. Just happened. It happened on like the 29th, and they go to Ben Gurion Airport in Israel, and they're checking through they're going through the TSA, whatever TSA is over there, security. And the security finds out the Americans have an unexploded mortar shell like this big. They have like a bomb in their in their luggage, and they have it all wrapped up, and they go, "Yo, we were hiking in Israel, and we found this, and we thought we'd bring it home as a souvenir." And security went ballistic, and people in the place started to panic. And the only person who got hurt was this fool that tried to run on the conveyor belt. He tried to run on the conveyor belt when they had an unexploded bomb. But leave it to Americans to find an unexploded bomb and try to bring that shit home. Way to go. Shout out to you guys traveling the world over there. Stay safe. That is insane. Handsome history. I've been thinking about the Supreme Court. Who hasn't? No matter what side you're on, you're thinking of Supreme Court, I promise. And it got me thinking, what other decisions have these wild 9 people made? What other decisions have come down the pipe that these guys are just out there interpreting the law in their own way and deciding that we should be subjected to? Anyway, it brings us to Mapp versus Ohio, 1961 in Handsome History. Dalrymple Mapp they thought she was harboring a suspect. Now, again, this is in 1961. They thought she was harboring a suspect, so they had a warrant to go into her house. They go into her house, and they don't find the suspect. Nobody's there. But during so, they take a bunch of stuff that she's not supposed to have, they say. So they get her in court, and they convict her. And she argues all the way up to the Supreme Court that they violated her Fourth Amendment. And her Fourth Amendment right is which is the amendment that says you have right to lawful search and seizure. And so the Supreme Court backed her on that and said that the police had overstepped their bounds all the way up and to the Supreme Court. They sided with her that her Fourth Amendment right was violated. And so they decided that to hand it down to the law that you cannot you cannot take property that is taken without it being in the warrant. So that actually was the first instance where the Supreme Court influenced how local and federal law enforcement do their job. The second time, one of the other times, I should say, was 1967. 1967, they do it again where the police, this time it's on a person, and it's Katz versus the United States. And in Katz versus United States, the Supreme Court decides that his Fourth Amendment right was violated, and they added the personal search and seizure clause to the amendment. So therefore, they can't, without a warrant, violate your person or your property. And that was handed down from the Supreme Court. And folks, that's Handsome History today when we're bringing on our guest, Jessa Flux. Oh, shit. Here we go. Oh. Anyway, moving right on today.
Hi.
Hi there. Hey there. How are you?
Hey. Good. How are you?
Great. Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So let's get right to it. Let's talk about. I see you drinking coffee there.
Yep.
And we're gonna go into it. One of the movies that I don't really know where to start, so we're gonna start. Forgive me. I don't have a really cool segue, and I usually do, and I don't today. But Adam Friedman was on our show, and you're in his movie Deadly Dealings.
I am, yeah.
So tell us about that. Tell us about your part in that.
Okay, so I was really excited about that part, actually. I get to play a psychiatrist, which is actually, if I could do anything in the world without actually having to put work in to it, I would be a psychiatrist. It's something I always wanted to do. I went to school for psychology for a long time. So it was just really fun being able to finally live my dream, even if it's just on screen. But she also was this Southern belle. Her name's Dr. Leanna Hart. And whenever I can do a Southern accent pretty well, because I'm from the southern tip of Indiana, so I'm basically from Kentucky. But to do an educated Southern accent is like a whole other thing, because I kept reading the lines and they sounded just like my grandmother. You know what I mean? Like they sounded like somebody that was from deep in the thicket of the wood. You know what I mean? And so I was like, how does one sound like more like a Southern belle, like somebody that comes from like affluence or something? So I was like doing all this research. I did a lot of like prep for that role, and it was a lot of fun. Like the movie itself is going to be beautiful. I don't know if you've seen some of the like the little parts of it that he's like shared with everybody. By the way, it's going to be done, I think, this week, so that's really exciting. But it's just beautiful. Like, it's stunning. Like, there's glitter on everything. It's like, it's the most extra that you could possibly be while still being serious about loss. You know what I mean? It's
And
really great.
your character's wearing bright pink in that. Am I right?
Yes. So whenever he was telling me kind of who he wanted me to frame my character after, he said something about like Anna Nicole Smith, which is, you know, rest in peace. You know, she's like my favorite. But she's like, she was really charming and Southern, but she wasn't super educated. And then the other person that I formed it after, I was just like, can also I pull from Dolly Parton? Which is so funny because I just activated my old phone from like last year or the year before, and my closing screen is Dolly Parton, and then my like my background is Anna Nicole Smith, so that's really funny. But yeah, I watched a lot of videos of them and just how charming they were and how they interacted with other people, and I really tried to embody that.
So you read the writing for the script and thought that it was too old lady, too stiff. How did that come about? Like who wrote that? Like, did Adam write that? I mean, I don't mean
He
to call him
did.
out, but he did.
No, and I didn't think it was too old lady or stiff or anything like that. What I was trying to be was a little bit more stiff with it. You know what I mean? Because she was like, the character herself is so like understanding, and she has just like a lot of empathy for everybody. I mean, she's a therapist. She should, you know. But at the same time, I wanted to not just bring that charm and that empathy, you know, from Anna Nicole Smith, which is who he was like, definitely bring her in your mind, you know what I mean? But I also wanted to seem like I knew what I was talking about, you know what I mean? And luckily I do have, you know, I almost have a psychology degree, damn near. Like I like needed a couple more classes, and then, you know, the COVID happened and I was like, this is a great opportunity to quit. So anyhow, I was like, I was able to pull from that, and a lot of things, he did a lot of research himself that was really spot on, but like I tweaked it a little bit, you know, here and there, just to make it straight, you know, very educated sounding, I guess.
So when you're doing that, do you stick to the lines in the script, or are you making it your own? Like, what do you do as an actor?
Both. Most I A lot of I ask permission first, obviously, like from the director or the writer, to make sure that anything, even if it's the littlest change, to make sure that it's okay. I probably get on their nerves, honestly, but I just want to make sure that I don't show up on set and, you know, piss anybody off. So I make sure, like, okay, so I was like, I see that you're talking about the stages of grief here, but they're slightly incorrect. Can I correct them? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So yes, I do mostly make it my own. If something feels just, and I'm sure you know as an actor, whenever you're just like reading lines, sometimes they're written to be written down. They're not really written to be read or to be acted. And sometimes you kind of have to add a contraction in there instead of saying, we will go to, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to, we'll go there, you know, like we'll have to kind of make the language work for you and what rolls off of your tongue. But yeah, I do get permission first.
Right. You know, I always worry about that. Like, you know, when I feel like it, you know, and when they go, well, do it like you would do it, right? They tell me, they go, and I always add, you know, well, okay, so, you know, we're going to do this, man. Like, because that's how I would normally talk. And man
Right.
is obviously not in the script. But, you know, I add that. So I have to watch out for adding things like man and dude when I talk. So, okay. So did you, for that movie, did you do your own makeup? I know you're a makeup artist. So did you do
Yes,
you?
I did. I did. He sent me some ideas. He wanted blue eyeshadow, and I was so excited about that. I was like, yes, I never got to wear blue eyeshadow in a film, and this is the perfect time. So I rounded up, you know, a couple of ideas, and I sent them back to him, and I'm like, how does this look? How does this look? Because I wanted it to look, even though blue eyeshadow is like universally known as like kind of a little bit trashy, I wanted it to be like a pretty version of that. You know what I mean? Like, this is just who she is as a person. This is who Leanna Hart is. She's, you know, she comes from the South. She's a big talking woman that has a lot of empathy for people, but at the same time, she has her own look. You know what I mean? She's not gonna tone it down for anybody, and especially not her clients. She wants them to feel comfortable with who they are, so she's got to show that she's comfortable with who she is. You know?
Right. And when Adam was on the show, he talked about putting his actors through a grueling process, like
Hmm.
making them sit for hours on end and a lot of stuff I wouldn't personally do. Did he do that to you?
He didn't make me do it. I was happy to do it.
I mean, maybe make you do it is the wrong word, right?
Right. Well, I mean, when he first kind of developed this character for me, he knew I'd be excited about it, just with all the different factors that are kind of close to my heart, you know, with the influences that he called upon, and then just being that she's a psychologist and all of that. So I was happy to watch hours and hours of Anna Nicole Smith to see how she charmed the, you know, I was going to say the pants off, but charmed everybody around her, you know what I mean? And same with like Dolly Parton and all of that. And he's, what I like about working with Adam, and what I think is just so cool about him, that I haven't experienced with other directors. He is so sure how he wants the character to look. And usually I'm the one that's like, hey, what do you think about this look? What do you think about this hairstyle? What do you think about this like color scheme? I always say scheme, and my friend makes fun of me. Scheme. What do you think about this color scheme, like for the clothes that I'm gonna wear and how I'm gonna present myself? So I usually go to the director with, like I said, I think I drive them crazy, but I'm just like, how do you feel about me presenting this person as this, you know? But he always has the idea, like he always knows how how he wants it to be. And I just think that that's great, because it really takes away a lot of the process of you trying to figure out who the character is, because he gives you that information right off the bat. And yeah, I just love that. He's really aesthetic based, so he knows exactly how he wants everything to look, and I really appreciate that.
The film is very very visual, like with the
Yeah.
blues and the pinks, and the actual like demon guy is so
Yeah.
insane looking, that like such a great film. And you did talk about that it's completed.
Yes.
I know he's anxious for everybody to get to see it. I think I heard it was finished actually today.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'm really hoping that I can get some copies, because I'm gonna do a convention in July, and I really like to like push those on people, because I think that they're gonna love it. They're just gonna be like, "What is this amazing, like, totally cool, like work of art?" Like, I think out of like all, I mean, I don't always say this, but every movie has a special place in my heart that I've done so far, and this one, it's just got like the biggest special place, because I don't want to say favorite, because I don't want to take away from anybody else, but the aesthetic of it is just really up my alley. I got to play a character that I'd love to be in real life. You know what I mean? That's always really exciting. And I got to work with somebody that I just really have a lot of respect for. Like Adam, I met him on the set of Cannibal Hookers, which is a Donald Farmer film. And he just stuck out to me. You know, he just seemed like he was just a really fun guy, and we kept in contact. And anytime I needed any like advice or anything like that, he was always there for me. And so to be able for him to like make his ideas like into a reality, like on film, is super cool. Like, it's super cool to follow anybody that is like able to actually finish a project, because I've
Yeah.
been I've auditioned for roles that I've gotten, and then I was disappointed to find out that it's not going to get made. You know what I mean? Or just it's hard. Like, I don't know if that I could do it. I want to do it. Like, I have an idea for a film, but you know, it's a lot of work to just start and finish a project, to get everybody on board and wrangle them together. Like, that's really respectable.
It is. It's yeah. I've seen it come apart uh, dozens of times.
Yeah.
You know, even movies that I've shot for, and
Yeah.
you know, the film never gets made, or the film comes apart at the end, or they recast so many times that you never see the movie. Let's
Mhm.
move on to. You mentioned a little bit about doing a convention, and I'm really fascinated. Something I talk about a lot on the show is the. Sorry, I got to move that. The con circuit. Have you done a convention before?
No, I haven't. I've been to a couple of conventions, not really as an actress, but I've been recognized just from being like an internet person, I don't want to say celebrity because I feel like that's like giving myself too much credit, but as an internet person that people know, like I've been recognized and asked for like, you know, my signature on things, which is like so cool. But this is going to be my first one that I'm actually going to have a table. I'm going to sell little things here and there. I'm going to get stickers. Instead of giving out business cards, my friend Sushi gave me this idea that instead of giving out a business card, because people just really just like toss those, you know, you find them all over the floor at the end of the convention, a sticker, with like a cartoon version of me with my website.
Right.
That, you know, points to everything else would be more likely to be put on something. And then like, oh, later, I wonder what Jessa does it all.com is like, let me go check that out, you know? So I think that that's what I'm going to do and give those
I've
out.
I've seen a lot of people, pretty girls, use those stickers. I see them, a lot of them, they do it here in LA, they do it in Sacramento. I've seen that as a good marketing campaign. And those stickers look adorable. Those little like cute drawings, they're so adorable, right? So tell us, I know you're popular. I know you have a lot of fans.
Mm-hmm.
So you how do do you send stuff to people through the mail? Like, how do your fans get their merchandise now?
So I kind of take breaks, but I do send films out. First of all, as you know, I'm sure that like the indie movie process of making the film and then the post-production takes, oh my God, like a year to 3 years. It's getting done, but it just isn't, you know, it's not quite done yet. So really, honestly, I only have like 3 movies to physically sell at this time, even though I've been in umpteen. You know what I mean? They're just not finished yet. So I go through periods where I do send out copies. I take orders. I'll put it on my Snapchat or like the stories on here on Facebook or anything, and just say, I have this 20 copies of this or whatever, and I'm trying to get them out there, you know, and people, they scoop them up right away. But the one thing, the reason why I take breaks is because people are so used to Amazon Prime that it will drive you crazy, because they're just like, where's my copy? Where's my copy? I'm like, bro, I sent it out. Like, I'm telling you, none of them have gotten lost yet. Like, it's gonna get there. And then if you get a little snippy with them, they're like, I want my money back, you know, like they get like mad at you. So I have to, like, for my sanity, only do that like at certain times, you know.
Now I saw another girl who the fans were asking her to buy her shoes.
Okay.
Do you have fans like that? I'm assuming you do.
Yes. With that, I only do it at certain times. You know what I mean? If like right now, I have a lot of lingerie to get rid of, so I'm gonna start like listing it, you know, for sale. And I'll post that in the same way that I do the movies. I don't do that as often, but again, people get so bent out of shape about like when their package is going to be there that it's just like, it's really disheartening and makes you not want to do it, even though it brings so much joy to the people that like actually want your items, like shoes or whatever, you know?
Right. So the needing it, the immediate need is killing your sales market essentially, because it's become more than a hassle.
Yes. Like, I mean, I could go, like, the person could order something or say, I'll purchase that right now. And I could go directly to the post office and send it out right then. And then the next day they're like, so can I get that tracking number? And I'm like, bro, I lost it. Like, it's on the way. You know what I mean? Like, I have ADHD, so I'm all over the place all the time. I'm like, I promise you, if it doesn't get there, I'll send you 2 of them. You know what I mean? Like, that has never happened before. But yeah, you know, people are just so demanding, and that can suck.
So you're in movies where you could potentially draw the wrong kind of fan.
What is the wrong kind of fan?
I guess I mean a dangerous one.
Oh, I see.
You know, right? Like you know, and so I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, obsessive fans are fine or whatever of that, and I get poetry and all kinds of random things that I love
nice.
it. Right? I love drawings. I love to receive those things. You know, DVDs and all that. But I'm talking about you know, somebody who could be potentially harmful.
Okay, yeah.
And more specifically in the industry with working with people, how do you, given that you have a lot of content that is, I guess for lack of a better term, sexual,
Yeah.
or sexy, I guess I should say. How do you vet people in the industry when you're going to work with them? How do you personally make sure it's a safe environment?
Okay, well, I listen to my gut a lot of times. I've had a couple of offers as like from parts in movies where I just there was a lot of red flags, you know what I mean? Like they would say, are you interested in doing like a sex scene basically, and then I'm like, okay, I haven't done that yet, so I'll just be honest about that and say I've never done that in a film. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're looking for? And if they start sending me something from Brazzers or something, you know what I mean, which has happened, I'm
Right.
just like, oh yeah, I think we're going for different things here, and I hope you find what you're looking for. And I just bow out. So I've had people that are kind of creeped me out with that kind of thing, because I don't mind. I don't do full nudity in films, but I don't mind doing topless, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And I like I said, I've never done a sex scene, but I wouldn't probably mind doing it. But I want to know that the person is being respectful, you know what I mean, and that I don't need a like even a clothes set. Like a lot of people are worried about that, you know what I mean. I have an OnlyFans, so like I'm not super concerned about anybody seeing like they can see it if they really want to. But I just want everybody to be respectful of me, not say anything weird, you know what I mean, not say anything inappropriate. Just everybody just be cool, you know what I mean. But nothing on set has ever happened to me that's been inappropriate. Like I said, I have had some red flags with people that have asked me to be a part of their projects before, and then I get referrals. Like I'll be like, well, who have you worked with before that's like on my friends list that I can talk to? And I will go and do that, or I will talk to somebody that has known of this person for a long time and maybe knows things that not everybody knows. So I do my research. I want to be safe, you know what I mean? As well as like I want everybody on set to be safe. So, like anytime, it doesn't matter, even if I work with a person a million times before, I will always send my location to like my mom and my two best friends. And, sometimes, my best friend will come with me because she does drone work. So, I'm just like, hey, do you need some drone shots? And they're like, yeah. So my best friend Leslie will come with me, but I don't know, I feel like I have a really good sense of intuition about things. And if something makes you feel uncomfortable, definitely pay attention to that. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you could possibly be harmed or anything like that.
You mentioned that you bring a friend with you and stuff. The reason I'm asking these questions, I love to ask these questions on the show because I have an 18-year-old daughter who works and who's an actor. And so I like to ask these questions, to get the feel for what's going on out there. But when you mentioned that you bring a friend, do you know things like, do you know like karate or carry a pepper spray? Like my kid carries a pepper spray. I mean, do you take other self precautions?
I don't. A lot of people have recommended that I get a pepper spray and take it along with me, and I probably really need to do that. But the honest to God goodness about it is that like I feel like I would get a pepper spray out and then just spray myself. Like I just feel like I'd be better off like calling someone. Like I just feel like I would end up hurting myself with the pepper spray and everyone else around me. Like I don't think that I don't know. Like and also are you
Right.
just where are you gonna put that? Like you're just gonna have it on
Right.
you at all times. Like where are you gonna store the pepper spray? So I think that's a good idea. I'm not gonna say it's not, but I just think being aware, having good communication with people before you show up on set has always been good. I've had some misunderstandings where a director thought that I was going to do full nudity. He just no, by no fault of his, he just assumed he saw me in another movie and he saw me topless and he just forgot or got it confused that he thought that I did full nudity. And I was like, oh no, don't do that. But this is what I can do for you. Like we can do like an implied scene where like my leg is like positioned in such a way. And just having that dialogue beforehand is really helpful because it can be really embarrassing whenever you're on set and you're just like, oh, I didn't agree to that. You know what I mean? And also when you're put on the spot, you're less likely to have your boundaries. You know what I mean? Because when you're put on
That's a
the
good point.
spot, like it's kind of like, well, gosh, what do I do? Because I don't want to piss anybody off or get blacklisted for not being, agreeable. So it's just good to like really talk about those things beforehand. And I find that talking on the phone helps quite a bit, because just once you hear that voice to voice communication, you can tell if you can trust a person or not. I don't know. Is that sound silly?
No, no, no. Actually, I think that's really, really great advice. Like, I'm really grateful for what you're saying. I think it's solid. I really do. I think talking on the phone to somebody is a huge idea. Like, that never even occurred to me. So,
Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea. Let's talk about one of the good ones in the industry.
Okay.
Of course, I hate to transition from protecting yourself to this guy, but let's talk about Donald Farmer.
Love him.
You're right. So you're in Debbie Does Demons,
Yeah.
which
We're
of
gonna.
course is obviously from Debbie Does Dallas, right? I'm assuming that's where the name comes from.
Well, let me tell you about how he finds his titles. He comes up with the title and then writes the movie. Which are, I don't know if you know who R.L. Stein is, who did Goosebumps and
Yeah, of course,
Street.
right.
He did the same thing.
So
But,
it's a okay.
so he comes up with a cool, catchy title with a bit of an idea behind it, and then he writes the movie. He came up with that title because it sounded cool. It kind of like alludes to something sexy, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like Debbie Does Dallas and all that. But it's not based on Debbie Does Dallas or anything like that. It's actually totally different. I'm spoiler alert, the demon, kind of. You're not really quite a demon, and I'm not quite a demon in this. I'm kind of like a ghost, like an apparition, a witch, someone from the past. So it's super fun, and I'm gonna be like hot as hell in this, and I'm super excited that it's getting made into a comic book. That is like my dream come true.
That's even better. I didn't know it was going to become a comic book. Now,
Yeah, it's gonna be super awesome.
and of course, he's done one of the most famous, and you're in part two, Shark Exorcist.
Yes.
Are you in part two? You're in part two, right?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Okay. And also on our show, Kim Cole, Kimberly Zemke was on our show, and she's in that. And Bigfoot Exorcist as well. You do that, right?
Yes. Yes, I love Bigfoot Exorcist. I can't wait till that gets actually put out. Like, the movie's finished, but you have to figure out like the distributor situation and all of that. But I'm super pumped about that one, because that was probably my first role that I got to be kind of like funny, and I fashion myself a funny person. So I keep getting these roles where I'm just like super sexy, which is totally not my real personality. Like, I'm really just a goof. But yeah, I got to be kind of like ditzy and like funny and that. So I'm really excited for people to see that.
So like me, like I keep going, come on, hire me for my talent, stop hiring me for my looks. But you're cool with it. You're cool.
Absolutely. No, it's honestly funny to me, to be quite honest with you, because like I'm such a tomboy in real life. Like I just play sexy on in front of a camera. Like, in real life, all my friends think I'm like the biggest like goof. Like, I'm like the life of the party in like a goofy way, not like, well, let's do shots, you know what I mean? But like more just like I tell jokes constantly and say inappropriate things, and that's just who I am. So I don't think of myself as sexy. So if somebody else does and they're willing to pay me for it, say less. Like, you know what I mean? Like, tell me more. I love that. That's what I like about like doing movies. Like, I'm just like, I can't believe people think I'm hot. Like, it's so funny to me. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I'll play the hot girl, whatever.
So one of the things you've talked about, at least I read about on your Facebook, was about body image and about about being, I guess, obviously being proud of who you are. Like,
Yeah.
how does that play into it? Like, and what would you tell people?
Well, gosh, I just posted something recently, and I got a little bit of backlash from a couple of people, and they're just like, you don't understand how body image like is wrapped up in your self-esteem and how it affects your mental, your well-being and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, I actually do. Like, I really understand that. Like, the thing is like I went for like my whole life, like I did ballet growing up, and I was always on the thicker side, and my ballet teacher would like, you know, use a little cane and like pop me on the stomach and tell me to pull my stomach in or tuck my, she would say popo, but like that's your butt. She would pop me on the butt and be like, tuck your popo or whatever. It's like, you know, anyhow, like, so I understand that. And I had like eating problems for a long time, and my weight just naturally fluctuates quite a bit due to like my activity level, my mood, in all of that. So, and it's probably going to do that for my whole life. But you know what? Like every time I get thinner, I look at pictures when I'm thicker and I'm just like, what the, why was I upset? Like I was still cute, you know what I mean? Like I was still good looking, because you know, like you can lose weight, but you can't lose ugly. I mean, it's the truth though, you know what I mean? And ugly is so subjective these days, and there's so many different things you can do to have control over your appearance. If you don't like it, you can change it, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I just think that, you know, people are wasting time hating on themselves, like, oh, I don't like it that I gained this 10 pounds after this life event happened. Well, the life event happened, there's nothing you can do to change that. Like you slowed down, you COVID happened, or whatever the case may be. You know, there's going to be things that are outside of your control for your entire life, but the one thing that you do have is this body that's carrying you through life. So the fact that it's still alive and kicking and taking you where you need to go, you know what I mean, and you know, able to, you're able to feel joy through this body, you're able to feel loss through this body. It's like your body is so amazing. So no matter where you are, like people can say like, well, you know, I'm trying to gain muscle, or I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight, or I'm trying to gain weight in some people's cases. But wherever you're at right now, you're amazing. You know what I mean? Like wherever you're at right now, like you should love that you're here and you're killing it. You know what I mean? Just show up and just nobody. And the thing is like whenever people are at, you know, theme parks and they're all in a bathing suit and you're like, everybody's gonna look at me like my belly's sticking out, or you know what I mean, I got a little cellulite or whatever, but like so does everybody else. Like literally, like the most perfect person is probably hating on themselves worse. You know what I mean? Because they probably have so much pressure to be this perfect looking person. So they're not looking at you. They're worried about their little belly and their little this and their little that. So like, honestly, the most radical thing you can do is to love yourself as you are right now and to have a good time, you know, because there is only so much time that we have on this earth. So why not have a good one, you know?
I'm so glad I asked that question. Oh my gosh, your answer was like thank you for that. How much pressure do you think from Hollywood to look a certain way, or to pretend to be a certain way? Like do you personally feel it?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I get stuff done. I've had liposuction. I've had like work. I get my lips done. I get filler. I get Botox. I get all those things because I think it's fun, and I like to control my body. If I want to lose weight, I can do it. Like I don't have any problem if I want to do that, or if I want to gain weight for something or whatever. Like I like the fact that I have control over my body and I can present myself in any sort of way that I want to. I think that's super cool. And it's like always wearing a costume, I guess, in a weird way, because like, you know, my normal frumpy self, like I have curly dark hair, and like I don't know, I just, growing up, I always thought that I was the funny person, not the pretty person. So the fact that like I can control myself and be blonde and do, you know, have lash extensions and wear makeup and do makeup on other people and change the way they look and change the way their hair looks is so exciting to me. Like I love it. But at the same time, there is a lot of pressure that like, you know, if you haven't seen somebody for a couple of months and you've gained, you know, 20 pounds or something, that it'll run through your head like, oh my God, I'm going to see Tom tonight, and I haven't seen him since that last party I went to. And he's going to think, oh my God, she gained 20 pounds. But you know what? Tom probably gained 20 pounds too. You know what I mean? And, like, and so did his wife. You know what I mean? And so nobody cares. Like, I just try to remind myself that it's like, yes, there are pressures, And yes, I succumb to them by doing certain things, going to the gym, you know what I mean, as much as I do, and wearing makeup and all that stuff, and not wanting to leave the house without looking presentable. Yeah, there's a lot of pressures for everybody to look a certain way, but the thing is like you can either be crushed by it or you can have fun with it.
And I've
So,
been both, right?
right.
I've been crushed by it, and I go, well, this is me. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Ultimately, I think in Hollywood, you just have to go, this is me. I
Yeah.
mean, because like you said, and, you know, and control what you can. What
Yeah.
let's go back to a little bit, back to the exorcisms and the demons and all those things, and have some fun. And not that we haven't been having fun. You're a fortune teller.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay. I can
Like,
read palms.
okay,
I can read palms. I've done that since I read a book about it in the 6th grade, and it's been like my party trick that I've done since then. And okay, so what gave me the inspiration to follow this dream is that around where my grandmother lives on the other side of town, there is a lady that has a little house called Madame Faye, and she has like a fortune teller sign up in the window, and it's like open 24/7. You can knock on that door anytime and get your cards read or whatever. I think she does cards, crystal ball, and palm. I've never been to her actually, and I really would like to, but I just feel like I would be disappointed. Honestly, I think that I'd be like, you're completely full of shit. but so like, if she can do it, and her family's been doing this for umpteen like years. Like she is like an Evansville, Indiana staple. Okay. So, and in other cities, there's tons of these people. Like, so the fact of the matter is that like, I don't want to have a regular job. Okay. Like I can read palms and I'm good at it. I can do tarot cards and I'm good at it. I would like to learn how to read tea leaves, and it would get a little bit better with the crystal ball thing, but I really think that that's all like a lot mental, you know what I mean, more than anything. So it's like it's seeing from within, whether the instead of from without, where like a palm, it's like a map, you know, so you can kind of see like things that are the same on different people's hands. Like there's like, I read the book, of course, when I was in 6th grade, but there's things that I figured out that are the same with all people of this nature, or all people that have this sort of life path. There's, you know, there's like a more of like a bump on this part of the finger or something. And like, I just kind of remember stuff like that. And I've always been like that. So I just started offering readings for a price. Like I'm a dancer. I work in clubs. And when I'm bored, I'm just like, does anybody want a palm reading? I have cards that I bring with me, and I'll do that. Like if it's slow, like you can get somebody to get a $20 palm reading. Like they may not want to get a dance because they're weirded out by that, but just be like, can I read your palm for $20? And they're just like, yeah. Like, so, and then I do it online where people send me pictures of their palms, both hands. And then I'll send them over like a full report. It's like basically a book report on like, this is what I see in your hand. This is what I see as your roadmap for your life. And this is what you can make of it. Cause it's like each hand means something different. So yeah, it's like something I've kind of always done. And then I realized I got the inspiration from Madame Faye. I was like, why am I not making money at this when I definitely can do this? And people are always impressed with it. So why not make a little bit of a living off of it? Because I am not trying to work in a library. I am not trying to work in an office. Okay. I'm not trying to work retail. I'm trying to have fun with this
You'd rather have
short
people
trip on Earth.
knock at your door at all hours of the morning to be like, yo, here's my hand.
Okay, I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm not gonna just full on Madame Faye. Okay, like,
She lives in a little shack.
I can't offer that at this time, but never
From an
say never.
outsider's point of view, the little old lady who fortune tells in a hidden corner of Indiana sounds like a scary person. Not like
I don't think so. I had a friend that worked for her one summer, and she said she had a blast, but she did say that she thinks she's a fake.
Was she digging holes in the backyard? Was that
No,
something your friend
no
did?
holes in the
Okay.
backyard.
So are demons real?
I don't think so. No, I think that demons are more of I mean, okay, so this is all opinion because there's no possible way we can know the true answers to these things. But no, I don't think so. I think that demons are a state of mind, especially like whenever people say that they're possessed or something. I think it's like a trap in your mind. When you just get on like a never-ending negative loop, that is a demon. You know what I mean? When depression is a demon. You know what I mean? I don't think that demons per se, that they are completely like these self-actualized creatures that are looming behind you in pictures and all of that. I don't think that's true, but I do think that there's demons that we live with. You know what I mean? That there's holes in our hearts from different things, maybe from loss or from trauma that we've experienced, that it traps us. It traps us in a negative loop, and it's hard to break out of those loops. And like when we were talking about the body positivity, I was trapped in a loop of self loathing of my own body all through growing up and everything. And I've escaped that demon, and I want everybody else to. You know what I mean? I'm just like, please, like I want to pull you away from this. Like, that's awful. Stop talking negatively about my friend. You're my friend. Like, I don't want to hear it. But yeah, I think that demons in that aspect are true, but not like scary ones, like that are
you can't. So an exorcism isn't real.
I don't believe so. No.
Are ghosts real?
Okay, so I am scared of ghosts. I am. I'm truly scared of ghosts, and I always have been, but they're probably not real, you know.
So, right?
It makes no sense. It makes no sense, but the things that I do find scary are like ghosts and curses and things like that. I'm like, ooh, it could be real.
A curse could be real, right? I feel you. I know people who believe in that. What are one of the things I like to ask people on the show? You actually sort of answered it even online, but irrational fears. And I think you said you have an irrational fear of Abe Lincoln.
I do.
How?
Okay.
Well, he's dead, right? Oh, wait, Abe's ghost, you mean that?
Just his face.
His face is scary?
Yes. Okay, so I remember the first time I saw a painting of Abraham Lincoln when I was a child, and I was like, that man looks like a walking corpse. He's so scary looking. And then since then there's been like Abraham Lincoln zombie movies and stuff like that, and I'm just like, no thank you, ma'am. I do not want to see Abraham Lincoln as a zombie, because he's always been a zombie to me.
You wouldn't take a role in that film?
Oh, I probably.
You still would, right?
Listen, if everybody is cool, the script is fun, and my daily rate is being respected, yes, I probably would. But honestly, it might help me like make it through. Like, it would help me like fight my fear of Abraham Lincoln. I always try to look at everything as an opportunity for something. So in that case, maybe that would help me get rid of my fear. But I just really don't like looking at pictures of Abraham Lincoln.
I recently saw these photos of him, and it was before the Civil War, and he looked like a dude. And after the Civil War, he looked like a zombie. Like, his face, he changed. Like, whatever happened during the Civil War, I mean, I know what happened, but to him personally,
well, I think he was under a lot of stress, and plus he had that disease that I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like a degenerative disease where you constantly grow your whole life. Your bones continue to expand and you grow, but also you deteriorate. So I can't think of what it is, but I actually have a friend that has it, and
zombification. I think it's called zombification. I think that's what happened.
Fair point.
So we're running out of time. Tell us what you got coming up. What are you excited about? I mean, we know we talked about Debbie Does Demons and stuff, but what are you excited about? What do you got coming out?
Okay, well, I do have a Debbie Does Demons. We're starting to film that in just a couple of weeks here, and I'm super excited about that. Like, absolutely. But after that, I'm going to be filming a movie called Shingles. And Shingles is a play on Goosebumps, and it's a bunch of different stories that have been kind of put together, and they're actually based on books that people have written, but they're a little bit more ornery than than Goosebumps. But in one of them, I get to play an alien, and I think that's so cool. My name's Zip Zip, and I talk all weird, and I'm just really having a good time with that role. Like, I've always wanted to play like an alien or somebody from like a different planet. So it's whenever I was presented with that, I was like, abso-freaking-lutely, like, say less, like, I'm there. But yeah, no, I have a lot of projects coming up. I'm playing a girl that turns into in a short. It's called like The Legend of Juice. And it's down here somewhere. I have like scripts literally all over my house. Like, do you have this problem? Like, they're just in binders everywhere. They live in the house with me. They're just a part of the decor at this point. But in this role, I am the daughter of Violet, that is from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Violet, who turns into the blueberry. And she is a person that has to get juiced on a regular basis because of the accident at the factory. She has this lifelong affliction, but she also has fans that love this, and she goes to conventions. And anyway, she has a daughter, and I'm the daughter, and I developed this affliction. It was not expected because it was from an accident rather than like it being a genetic thing, but somehow it was passed on to me, and I start just turning into a blueberry. And I'm really excited about the special effects makeup for this because you will see pictures. Like, there are going to be pictures everywhere. Because I said, if I take on this role, I'm sorry, but there's going to have to be pictures posted before the short comes out. Like, that's my ask. Like, because that's pretty amazing. Like, I can't wait to be a blueberry.
I hate when I get there and they go, oh, by the way, you can't post anything on social media. And I'm like, why am I here?
I know. Like, because I mean, like I said, a lot of these movies and these films, they don't come out for like a year to
years. 3. Right.
Yeah.
I need the promo now. Yeah.
I would like to tell people what I'm doing right now. And so I did get that cleared, and he was like, yes, absolutely. So, and I do make sure that before I post pictures from movie sets that, is this okay to post? Like, I probably ask too many dang questions. Like I said, I probably get on my director's nerves, but I just want to make sure that I'm not going to get anybody in trouble or anything. Wolf Lust. Okay. Adam just popped up. Wolf Lust. I'm not sure when we're filming this, but this is going to be like, Adam said that this is going to be the role. This movie is going to be my favorite movie ever. Like, I feel like Adam is writing this almost as a love letter to me. And maybe that's in my head, but it's going to be super fun. And it's sort of a werewolf movie. And yeah, so that's coming up soon. I have so many projects. Like, everybody asks me this, and I'm just like, like I can't ever think of any. But and then I'm trying to get my own movie off the ground that I'm just not going to speak a lot about, but I will say that it's going to be very silly, kind of on the trauma spectrum of things, of goofiness, and it's called Cocaine Snakes.
Cocaine Snakes. That was my name on the street. That's so weird that you chose that. Cocaine Snakes. That was what they used to call me.
It's gonna be a comedy, like a horror comedy.
Nice. That's very cool. So I love that idea. I love the idea of the Juiced as well. That sounds really cool. And also on that shingles thing, I thought that was so funny. The director made fake. One of the scenes takes place in an adult store, and there's fake like movies in the back with your guys, the stars of the movie's pictures, and yours says Xeno Sluts. I laughed so hard at your fake.
It's definitely not an alien.
Definitely not an alien, because you are one in the movie, right?
Yes.
Which I just loved. I loved the length that the director was going to. And shout out to Adam Freeman for the length he goes. I know this sounds like the Adam Freeman publicity hour, but it isn't. And,
but it doesn't. Honestly, if it were, what would that, who cares?
It is what it is, right? And it's all good. And so where can the people watching the show, where can the fans, the viewers, where can they find all these wonderful things you're doing? Where can they take a look at it?
Okay, well, I just recently, I have a link tree. I'm sure you're familiar with those, with links to all the things, but I went ahead and got a website together. So if you go to jessadoesitall.com, it'll have all of my stuff there. It has my Instagram that has like my makeup and beauty stuff. It has my OnlyFans. It has my IMDb. It has all of my social media accounts. It has everything. And whenever my movies are doing campaigns, I also add it to the link tree, and then I put it on top and make it flash. So you can get in on the ground floor. Because a lot of people say, well, how do I get your movies? I want this movie now. Like somebody just said, I'm going to be in Louisville next week, and I would love to get a copy of Debbie Does Demons. And I just laughed. I was like, well, we haven't started filming that yet. But what you can do is whenever they have campaigns for these movies, you can give $20, $30. And as soon as the DVD is finished, whether the distributor has it or not, it gets sent straight to you. So that is what I tell people. Like, if you want to support me and if you want to see these movies before, you don't have to wait till the distributor decides like how the, you know, the copy is going to look, what the artwork for the cover is going to be and all that. Just contribute to the campaign. Like, that's all you have to do. So I always try to push those.
Very good. Final words for aspiring actors?
Just do it. Literally, just do it. I don't mean to sound like a Nike ad, but I wanted to do movies for so long. Like, it was like when I was growing up, I wanted to be an actress. Like, it was just like I kept telling people I was going to be an actress, didn't do nothing to try to do that. Like, I didn't make any steps in that direction other than being like the shy girl in the back of the drama class, like that didn't want to go in front of anybody. You know, I did dance growing up, so that was like I could emote with my body, but I just felt very shy about talking in front of people and singing in front of people. And now I do not care. Like, literally, like once you do it, it's like getting a tattoo. Every time you get one, it's like, oh, I can do this. I can get more. I can, you know what I mean? So every time you do it, you get a little bit more and more comfortable with yourself and working with people around you. And the thing is if you want to do it, just contact somebody. Like, they're like, when I always try to hook people up, if they say, hey, I want to be in a movie, I'm like, hey, Donald, are you looking for anybody to be an extra in this little in the filming that we're about to do for this section of the movie? And he'll usually say yes. Like, reach out to people that you know that can get you roles. And you might have to take some that are unpaid. I never have, but you might have to just to get your foot in the door. And honestly, it's not a bad idea. Like, I started doing community theater around my area because I wanted to get a little bit more classic training as far as like acting goes. And because a lot of people that I work with have that experience and they highly recommended it. So I reached out to a local community theater company, and now I work with them. So, and obviously I don't get paid for that. I mean, but you know, it's the experience that I draw from that. Yeah. It's invaluable. Like, it's so good for you. So if you want to act, literally just do it. You have the time, you have the mental space. If you want to do it, you're already like halfway there. So just do it.
There it is. Jessa, thank you so much for being our guest today. I really appreciate having you on. It was a pleasure. Warren Madden, super producer, thank you for always lining the guests. Thank you again this week. Folks, thank you so much for watching Coffee Breaks Thursdays. We'll see you next week.
Bye.